All right, everyone, make sure you're all full up on drinks and food and ready to go. All right, well, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. See a couple new people here, which is awesome. I feel like it's a small enough group I've actually gotten to talk to everybody. Third startup happy hour that we're doing. Appreciate everyone for coming. One note, just probably noticed that it's a lot smaller than we had in the past. So one thing we're thinking about doing is kind of skipping next month potentially, and then trying to get maybe a bigger group, everyone in tech or in entrepreneurship and startups in Bend to do a kind of big maybe midsummer barbecue or something. Just a really big pure networking and community event, maybe in July. If you guys want us to keep doing these every month, then people are going to show up, great. But kind of feel like summertime, everyone has plans and it's really hard to lock stuff down. So if you're in for the barbecue, if you have any ideas or know people who should be invited, please let me know. And anything we can do to help out, because we just want to reach out to everybody and see how many people we can get together. Maybe we can go down to Drake Park or something like that. Thank you to Uptech Studio for letting us use your space again. And you have to give the okay too. So, and Deschutes Brewery for supplying all the beer and non-alcoholic beer. Good. They're really interested in the feedback. So anything you can tell me on that Black Butte non-alcoholic. So they've been super cool and getting us hooked up with that, and I'm sure we can get them to sponsor a big event in the summertime too. Not much else to say. A lot of times we'll do like who's hiring or something at our other events, but that doesn't really apply here. But is anyone I guess I had this question. Is anyone looking for something right now in their business? Whether it's looking to hire people, looking for a co-founder, looking to solve a problem, looking for a consultant or a CPA or anything like that. Anyone have any needs right now that maybe someone in the community can help with? CPA. Yeah. Okay. So if anyone knows a good CPA.
You're a CPA?
No.
This is amazing. Magic.
I know. But someone always knows someone. So I figured that could be part of our introduction, especially as we keep going with these. So bring your needs. That's kind of the point of this group, is to come needing help, whether it's just networking or looking for feedback on a pitch or, something that you have never experienced, and hopefully someone else here who's been through the whole process has. So without further ado, we got two speakers tonight. If you'll indulge me, I am going to be doing one of them, going to be giving a pitch. And then after that, Tommy is going to be telling me how poorly I did at my pitch by giving us kind of a preview of how to present, just how to present to get people to actually want to listen to you. So whether it's pitching for investors or just talking to a company or whatever it might be, there's always some good tidbits to getting people to actually want to pay attention and buy what you're selling. Cool. So any questions, any notes, anything I missed?
Get a new tattoo.
I did.
Looks good.
A couple days ago.
Is it a ferry boat?
No, it's a waterfront.
Oh, that's
It's still tender. Cool. Any other questions? Sweet.
That's a good relevant one.
Yeah.
totally irrelevant.
All right, so like I said, if you'll indulge me, to give a pitch on kind of a side project that I have been kicking around for quite a while, and I've never actually, as much as I've worked with startups, I've never actually given a pitch. So I would appreciate brutal feedback and hard questions and make me think through this. And the whole point of this is Just a forewarning, I'm very early stage. And so this is to figure out if this is something to actually pursue. Oops, wrong screen. There we go. Oh, I didn't have my. I'll just do that. All right. So my name is Kyle, and I am the founder of hopefully a new product called ReviewSpace. Nope. Off to a great start. There we go. So the problem that I've been trying to address is that consultants don't really, consultants, freelancers, even agencies don't really have a easy and automated way to collect reviews and actually capitalize on that. Everybody does it. Everybody collects reviews. Everybody throws them up on their website. Kind of does it in a different way, but they're leaving a lot on the table. There are some existing tools on the market right now that attempt to solve this problem. However, especially for me and the job that I do right now, they're either too broad or don't directly address the needs of especially digital service providers, or really don't provide the right type of tooling that I'm looking for that I think can really capitalize on the reviews and testimonials that you get. So this poses a problem, like I said, for consultants, freelancers, agencies. There's a lot more market segments that actually are looking for something like this. But to start with, this is a big enough segment that I think can really solve a real problem for. So I don't have any users yet because I haven't fully built the MVP. So as my test user, meet me. So I've been a product consultant product consultant and freelancer in software since 2018. I really started building this platform because I couldn't find anything that actually worked for me. Couldn't find anything targeted at what I was trying to accomplish. And many of the people in the fields that I'm looking at here that I've talked to in my network have the same problem. The number one solution that everyone has, email. Send an email out, you get it back, great. Number two is a Google form. That's the slight level up because you actually store it somewhere, kind of. You can send a form out and structure it a little bit, but really that's it. It took me really diving deep into trying to research competitors before I even found any competitors. And I just found another one today, actually, and they were on the 4th page of Google. And they provided probably the best tool set that I've seen so far in looking for competitors. So no one's targeting me, no one's talking to these people, and no one's really providing what actually matters. So how it is actually going to work. First step, you got to actually collect. So ReviewSpace will provide an easy set of tools and integrations that make this as seamless as possible. For the MVP, it's just copy and paste your custom link or your QR code, and then either send it out in an email or put it on something for your QR code. That actually takes you to a customizable survey page. Or you can drop the widget directly on your website. On the actual survey page, one thing I think is really interesting is instead of just a starter system, ask them how likely you are to recommend you to another person. If they rate you 7 or above, it immediately drops down and says, okay, give me some referrals. Not in such a crass way, but if people are immediately there asking or saying that they would recommend you highly to someone else, that's the best time to actually get some referral business from that. Next, you need a way to manage it. You need to be able to actually manage this data that you have. Too often I hear about experience kind of these testimonials scattered in email folders or just copied and pasted into directly on your website. The way I think about it is that databases were created for a reason, and this is a key set of data for your business, and it should not be scattered like that, and it really needs to be organized in a way that actually works for you. So from the dashboard, you can easily view and decide what to do with new and existing testimonials, whether to make them public or not, manage your integration, copy links to your pages, and also really important is view any analytics data that you have. And finally, the most important part and what no one else is really doing is capitalize. This doesn't really mean much if you're not using your great reviews to drive more business. So to start, you'll be able to kind of quickly add widgets to your site in order to show off all these great reviews that I'm getting from, the very biggest names in tech. Kind of a big deal. Elon couldn't have launched SpaceX without me. And then from there, it's getting posts to social media, one-click integration, so you can actually create this type of stuff, as well as widgets for your website. So this is kind of the low-hanging fruit that's really easy to actually drive value right away. But this is just the beginning. Personally, I see huge opportunity here to leverage this kind of AI revolution that we're going through, to utilize these reviews and other data that you have on either the companies and your own services, to create kind of customized marketing collateral that can then be used to drive more business your way. And I could go on and on about AI for a while, but that's for a later pitch. Study after study has shown that upwards of 90% of kind of end clients base their final hiring decisions for consultants and freelancers on trust, reliability, and their previous work, especially since COVID. For some reason, after COVID, that number actually spiked quite a bit. So this makes this one of the most important decisions and things you can do in your business to leverage these great reviews to close more business. So how am I actually going about making money with this? So kind of taking a SaaS product-led growth model to the platform by offering a free forever to get people on and get them engaged. This is just solopreneur, kind of an individual who wants the basic functionality with kind of a limited number of total reviews. This tier will then also kind of drive virality to the platform by having everything public facing be branded for ReviewSpace. Then we offer a paid kind of pro tier for individuals that would remove all the restrictions, provide a more full set of features to help them capitalize on the work and drive more business. We'll also be targeting agencies with a even more expanded set of features and functionality that are targeted around a single business as opposed to a single person. And that's with multiple individuals working there kind of under one banner. So for smaller agencies and those just starting out, there will be a smaller tier, more affordable. And then for mid-sized agencies, there will be a much more unlimited tier, kind of all the fancy stuff that you'd expect for a big-size agency. Finally, and it's not on here, but ideally we will plan an enterprise offering to actually be able to target larger consulting firms. There's a lot of those out there, but would be utilizing a lot of the feedback over the first year or so on these smaller agencies to figure out what that sales offering is going to be instead of just kind of going right for the big fish.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So those agencies and potential enterprise customers, wouldn't they use the more popular options like Google Reviews or Yelp or Trustpilot or something else?
Absolutely. And I will get to that in just a minute when I get to the competitor slide, because I talk about all of those. So real quick, for the market, this is kind of a rough overview and estimate of what this market actually looks like. So for kind of mind-blowing numbers, the US freelancer market, last time a study was done in 2020, I think during the census, there were 59 million people freelancing in the US. And I'm just looking at US markets right now for a very specific reason, not to compete with Upwork and Fiverr that are flooded by people charging $200 for a very expensive service in the US. But I see a big need there. So there are 59 million freelancers. But I'm going to kind of set that aside. That number doesn't really matter. That includes a lot of gig workers, other things like that, that wouldn't really fall in what we're targeting initially. But from a more specific kind of numbers, management consulting, there's 1.9 million. Tech consultants, there's 321,000. And there are over 180,000 freelance software developers currently employed in the US. Not addressed on here, but just to note that there are nearly 14,000 marketing and advertising agencies in the US. There's 4,500 firms that offer custom software development, and there's 865,000 business consulting firms. The reason I'm leaving those out of all of these market numbers is because one, there's crossover between individuals who are working as consultants and maybe what these consultancies, agencies are. It's gonna be really hard to get kind of a true number. I don't want to overestimate and throw some crazy numbers out here. The other reason is that's not who we're targeting initially. Going to want to grow into that agency. The ability to target those agencies and actually provide a set of tools that really brings them value instead of just trying to throw something at the wall. So for the TAM, I estimated about 2.4 million actual consultants in the US. Like I said, about 90% of those care more than anything else about the trust and reliability. So I took that number, times it by 0.9, $30 a month for the pro plan for an individual, and you're looking at about $750 million total addressable market. But honestly, that doesn't really matter. Service addressable market. So people that I actually think probably could get the full real value out of this. Essentially looking at about 500,000 freelancers and consultants and maybe on the 500,000 management consultants. That's only a quarter of the management consultants that are actually out there. A lot of them will be doing work that at least the first iterations of this platform wouldn't actually be able to address. So we're looking at about 1 million users times 30 times 12 months. We're looking at about 313 million for a service addressable market. But even that number doesn't really matter for what I'm looking at now. What matters more is an obtainable market. And this is what could probably actually target over the next couple of years, doing this the right way. And for that, I took 5% of that last number. So over the next couple of years, if you capture 5% of what I consider an attainable market, and again, it doesn't consider even the agencies, but just for individuals, and get them on a paid plan, that's 15 million. Not bad. At least not bad to start.
That's revenue, not market.
Revenue. Yes. Yeah, that is what it could bring in revenue for 5% of 10% of the whole market, essentially.
So that's an important point. You don't want to frame it as a market because I'll take 5% of whatever number you put up there as market.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be frame.
That's your revenue projection. So you're like, here's the market, and this is, I'm going to capture this much, and so this is going to be our revenue. Versus, like, because you would be like, oh, 15 million, you're going to get 10% of that.
Yeah.
So your revenue would
So
be 1.5 million.
everything that I saw in terms of like when I was putting this together, I never really like thought about a SOM like that, but all the calculations kind of specifically state that it is a revenue-based number based on your revenue for 12 months. Is that understood by VCs? Are they going to look at that and think that I'm talking about the market, or are they going to understand that the calculation is?
I think you say, like, here's the market, and my calculations will get 10% of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here's the market, here's your revenue
Yeah.
ramp.
Yeah.
It's revenue, then they're thinking exit X%, or X times the revenue potentially.
Well, that's sweet because I can put much bigger numbers up there.
And then you're gonna believe anything.
Yeah, which is why I have the caveat of like I'm almost trying to undershoot. Like there's a much bigger potential, but
Market numbers are always inflated, but the revenue number is just kind of more
yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah, which is what was trying to portray there. Is those are more realistic revenue numbers of like if I captured everybody, here's what it would be, and then here's a smaller percentage of what you could actually like pull in revenue in an obtainable way. All right, so James, to get to your question, we have a competitive landscape. There are a lot of big players out there, but based on kind of what I've found and looking into them, a lot of them aren't necessarily over where I'm trying to be. So you do have Trustpilot, Google reviews, you have Facebook reviews, things like that. What those do is it is a very consumer-facing application. It is about the consumer going and getting some information and leaving a review or something. One, it's not really targeted necessarily to consultants, freelancers, people in this industry that I am specifically targeting, at least at the beginning. And two, they don't provide a set of tools for you. They are focused on the end user. They're focused on the consumer. They're not focused on the business that's actually trying to use this data to drive more business and actually show how good they are. Yes, if you have those on there and you have great reviews, definitely show it on your website. That's why one of the pieces of initial functionality is that integration to be able to ideally say, hey, I got a great review. Let me send this to Google Reviews. Let me send this to Trustpilot if I have a profile in there. But they're not providing you as an agency actual tools to take your business to the next level besides just displaying something. There are a couple other sets of tools that do provide kind of a unique perspective. Things like testimonial.to and Delighted by Qualtrics has a testimonial section. One of the really interesting ones, Testimonial, actually, it seems like a pretty good platform. It's very interesting that they only focus on video reviews. That's kind of their main value add, and I'm sure theirs looks very similar to this. And on the y-axis, they have who does video. The one thing that I haven't found is people targeting this market. And that's where I see the opportunity to have kind of form a niche and actually generate a lot of initial user excitement. Like I said, when I was looking for something, I didn't even put in that I was a consultant. I was just looking for testimonial platforms that could provide me tools. And the closest one I could find, nothing on the front page of Google. Like they're all really down. So I don't know if they just really all suck at marketing and SEO, and the fact that I've never heard of any of these until I really started digging in. But from where I sit, there's a big opportunity there to actually capture a population that is in need of this. For a go-to-market strategy, pretty simple to start with. Product hunt, you get a lot of early adopters on there, people in the digital space, and a lot of service providers who actually might want to try this out. Obviously, you can't ignore all the social media, especially LinkedIn. I think is a huge opportunity to drive traffic. Myself, even just having a big organic network, being able to drive traffic that way, and add on top of their paid campaigns. And then finally, like I said, especially with the free tier, the virality of having everything branded, and hopefully when you send something out, people wonder what review score is, and that actually drives new people to sign up. The MVP and roadmap won't go into all the kind of text and individual features, but essentially sometime in Q3, after the first couple actual features come out, so we'll be launching an MVP. Basic functionality is essentially a data store and a custom survey with a public page. Add a couple new pieces of functionality, and then release paid plans to actually start generating feedback on how many people are willing to sign up and actually pay for something. Then some more integrations, specifically a Zapier integration, and ideally around this time I will get approved for the ChatGPT API, get off the wait list. Once I do that, that'll be going in as well. Sometime towards the end of the year, or at worst, beginning of next year, is when it start targeting agencies and providing that set of tools. I don't know if it's the, there we go. Something's moving slow on here. So I believe the title is supposed to say Path to Revenue. There you go. Yeah. So again, MVP launch June 23. Ideally have the first 100 users, mostly through organic traffic and kind of leaning on my own network and posts by July. Paid plans sometime in Q3. That first 1,000 users and ideally 10% paid would be sometime kind of early Q4. The agency launch at the end of Q4, and then ideally by the beginning of next year, you've got 10 paying agencies on here. And again, all of this really is to start getting feedback. All of these initial users just to see how this would actually do in the market. Now it's why me, and it doesn't want to show up. So why would I do this? Well, like I said, I've been a product consultant. I've had this problem. I'm also a software engineer. Like I mentioned to someone earlier, I'm a recovering software engineer, but I still like to do it in my free time. And it's a great opportunity to actually solve my own problem. And the more I talk to people, the more I realize no one's really solving this problem in a way that makes sense for them. So I do believe there's a big opportunity here, and that is what I'm trying to explore. Why now, though? Well, like I said earlier, there's 59 million freelancers, and that number is only growing. Massive layoffs in the tech sector, driving more people into the market to actually become freelance. Layoffs are also providing a good opportunity for freelancing and especially consulting and agency services because they can hide those on a separate line item from employees. So it might be cutting out a lot of employees and adding new consulting services to fill in the horsepower gaps, while maybe showing that they're, cutting during some of these times. Work from home has also led many people to find second jobs doing freelance work when they're also doing their day jobs. And then finally, the 800-pound gorilla on everyone's mind is AI. So AI has provided this kind of tool set that can take the core of this platform and the data that would be provided and truly make a difference in those marketing and sales efforts. And I think this is a unique set of data that can actually be leveraged in a really unique way to drive more business. So finally, my ask would be, if you are a consultant or freelancer, or could see yourself using this, or have the same problem, sign up for the waitlist. I'll let you know as soon as the MVP's out. And then feedback. That's why I'm here, is getting feedback from you on the idea, my pitch, on any thought that you have. To be brutally honest, any roadmap ideas, what would provide you value on a platform like this? What could you see that would solve your particular issue? Value data, how much would you actually pay? I guess $30 a month for an individual, $100 for a small agency, $400. These are all guesses. Still doing market research. This is kind of based on what some other people are doing, but all data that I need to know before really going all in. Investors, introductions, always looking to meet new people. If go down the investment route, the big thing I need is design, because if you couldn't tell from my screenshots, I'm not a designer, and marketing. As much organic traffic as I think I could drive, having paid campaigns is only going to make that a bit more, but really would just look for kind of a friends and family round, 50 to 100,000 to get started and really prove product market fit. And then from everyone else, feedback, spread the word. Someone who could benefit from this platform, let them know. ReviewSpace.io, sign up for the waitlist. Thank you. All right, questions? Feedback.
So, sorry, the target customer again is so why do you feel like you can't go and use Google to get reviews or Yelp or Variety?
I can't. It just is harder than it should be. They're not; those platforms aren't designed for that. They're designed for a lot of brick and mortar, a lot of just more analog industries and products. And yes, they kind of expand, especially Trustpilot and some of these other ones. We have a lot of kind of like secondary competition, and they're targeted more like software, like review the software company or something like that. The place that I see, especially an initial kind of niche spot to set myself apart and give the opportunity to build a business and grow a feature set is in this industry, because no one's targeting it, no one's providing the tool set, not the end result, not just having reviews out there on the internet, but it's what do you do with them? What do you do with those results? If all you want to do is just have them out there, sure, tell people to go rate you on Google, but you don't even really get those. Like, you don't have a spot where you're just holding all of those in some kind of data store that you can then decide, hey, I want to show these ones on my website. I don't want to show these ones. I want to highlight this. I want to use this as a LinkedIn post and build a post around this really great review I got. None of that, just even basic tool sets exist on those kind of bigger, well-known platforms, especially.
All right, I got 2 feature requests and a suggestion on a pricing model. So, background, I've been a consultant for 20+ years,
Mhm.
so I'm definitely in the space of your audience. My traditional approach is send an email and say, hey, customer, I know you're happy, can you send me a testimony? Which never works, because they look at like, is it regular? Like, right.
Yeah.
And so, we, at least I slowly started gathering, an approach where I would say, okay, well, if you gave me a rating of 0 to 10, and you gave me a 10, then let me help you create a testimonial for me, and you just approve it and post it. And that might be a good suggestion for like a ChatGPT to say, based on these metrics, I'll create a testimonial for the customer, and they just have to review it, approve it, or tweak it.
Yeah.
A lot more successful once you gather your testimonials. Second, though, is after you gather all these testimonials, then what the marketing team wants to do for a consulting company is build those into case studies. So now you have.
You didn't get to, I think I might have had it on that screen, but case studies is on the roadmap.
It's the roadmap, yeah. It's like the phase 2 roadmap where, okay, it's great, I have a great testimonial, but now we need a case study to actually show off in marketing material to say, here's the
Yes.
here's the problem, the solution, and they're happy with the customer.
Yes.
And then the pricing
Totally
model,
agree.
you know, if you go to like Deloitte and tell them it's gonna be $400 a month, that's not a good pricing model. You need to-
That's why I separated between midsize and I didn't put it on there because I haven't like fully thought that, but like for Deloitte, for a big company like that, you need an enterprise tier because that would be a failure as a business owner to charge Deloitte $400 for their organization.
Yeah, so I mean, you per user, like per consultant or per project type of approach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, it's going the other way, that you're saying it's too expensive.
No.
Okay, you did.
Is that-
Did you think it was too expensive?
I think it's too expensive. You're competing with free, which is really hard, like you're competing with a spreadsheet.
If Deloitte doesn't get the reviews on Google or Yelp, they cater their own gathering of testimonials.
I guess the part I'm missing is to
Yeah,
figure
your
out.
personal use of-
The part I'm missing is on the buyer side. So if I've got a project, I'm looking for somebody. Um, Is there like a portal of freelancers I'm going to that I can search for? Because like if I go to Fiverr, Fiverr has ratings.
Absolutely.
I can search for good ratings. I can filter on there what they did before. It's like it's almost like a two-sided marketplace. So
Yeah.
You've got like you got to build the content.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
build the buyers.
I think eventually that would be an eventual goal is to get enough data, enough people on the platform that is viable. But the goal at first wouldn't be to start with that plan. It is to provide a platform and then whatever you want to do with all of your reviews as a consultant, you get to decide. And we provide tools that help you create that marketing, create those case studies, create the ability to seamlessly shoot this out across the internet to all these other places and let them do that consumer side. Eventually, yes, if we had 10,000 consultants on here, then yeah, I think there's the opportunity to grow that piece of it and actually compete on that level. But my goal at first wouldn't be to compete, it would be carve out this piece, which is providing the tool set, and that's what the value would come initially.
Well, the most creative part of this, it's like, can you really curate your reviews? Is that-
Yeah.
It would be interesting to tag your testimonials based on like sector or product type or, not only looking at cross consultants, but like if I'm looking specifically at Jesse's work as a customer, and I'm trying to sign up for his service.
Figure out what they do, yeah.
His healthcare SaaS product testimonials.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, like, there's a couple things. One is like, how are you elevating your business to be trusted? And so as a consumer, I'm like, okay, of course they're going to put all the amazing reviews up there. So is there a way to, and it sounds like you're kind of like, you get to pick and choose. So also is there a way for people to be like, you had a negative review and here's how we addressed it? Because if I'm working with someone,
Yes.
I know it's not always going to go well.
Mhm.
I want to know that I have a good relationship with them.
Absolutely.
So I think like thinking about your brand and what you're doing to elevate the trusted side of your brand for the consumer. So just curious if you thought about that.
Yes. One thing that I thought about is having that 7 as the magic number. Anything 7 and above, you get that, hey, send me some referrals. Anything 7 and below, we would kind of automatically hide it, and then still working on the details of the idea, but on those lines, it would kick off a flow that is, where did you fail? What can we do better? And then setting off a flow on the consultant side to actually kick off a reach out to this person, send an email saying, so sorry you didn't have a perfect experience, and kind of kick off a flow to actually address concerns. If they're rating you 6 or below, you didn't provide the level of service that you probably want. So figuring out how to do that. And then I like what you said, which is how do you actually take a kind of round it back out, make a successful customer success interaction, and then turn that into a positive review for the whole experience. That'd be something interesting to map out for sure.
What else I think like I don't use Yelp much because I don't trust them. And so like I also wonder around how I lost my train of thought. But is there on
Well, we can.
I just think from the building side, and the consumer comes on and they have to have the ability to like give you reviews. Oh, and then how do you know like when someone's a bot, or if you have like an algorithm where you're like,
Yes.
this person goes in the negative,
Yeah. All very
yeah.
difficult technical problems that would need to be kind of
But I
addressed out
actually
of.
love it because I think as someone who's like looking for consultants, and there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of people going into it, it's really hard to know like, is that good, bad? I don't know. So I think it's like the concept is great.
And it's like, because of like competition, like how is like LinkedIn addressing this? Because like I know I get like random like recommendations from people I've worked with before that show up on LinkedIn, and they're just like they can't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think LinkedIn has a place, but again, I see LinkedIn as another place to compete on the end user side. It's where you as a consumer go to maybe figure out what you want, not necessarily where you as a consultant go to say, here is my tool set that is going to help me collect them, store them, manage them, figure out what I want to do with them, understand my analytics of the reviews I'm getting, connect it to HubSpot, my CRM, connect it to Zapier, and have AI tools that'll help me build marketing campaigns out of it. So really the focus of this is what is the tool set, and then how can you help get that out to platforms like LinkedIn, where you're actually going to be driving business from.
Yeah, I guess like one of the things that you're talking, it sounds like you're talking about like high volume consultants. Like I'm just used to like working on like one project where.
For sure. But it doesn't mean that you can't get a review and then use that review from that person or multiple people in the same company that you work for. Maybe you have multiple contact points. Get them to give you reviews. Use those to build some LinkedIn posts. Use those to build a case study. Different types of marketing campaigns, things like that. Have it up on your, on your website. And you're obviously a developer, so you're, custom building your website. But if you're not a developer and you just have a Webflow website or a Squarespace, having widgets that you can drop on gives you a nice wall of testimonials or a nice carousel, testimonials that you can just drop on, and it all gets sourced from a single spot.
That's my last question. Do you really want like a star rating? Because I can imagine it makes sense, like your haircut or something else that you're used to that, but it's like I'm like design consulting or like business strategy or whatever. It's like how do I 7 out of 10?
I don't know. I don't know if a star rating, that's kind of why I was thinking, how likely are you to recommend me to someone else is the way that you pose the question. But yeah, I don't know what the right answer is. And that's part of what, is getting feedback and figuring out how people want to display that. What makes the most sense. So. All right.
Cool.
Thank you. Good, thanks. So I know we ended up starting a little late, but if other people are we're down to stick around. Want us to give a little presentation, or if people need to leave, we can do it next time. Just give your 2-minute introduction. People stick around, I can stick around.
Cool.
All right. Yeah.
We need to stand up here.
Yes.
So you can.
Do I get the clicker?
I know. I forgot to even set it up. I don't know how to play from this, but. Let's try that.
Ooh, sweet. Hey, so this is not a pitch as much as informational and kind of some thoughts around how do you pitch your startup or how do you pitch anything so that people want to listen? Is it turned on? Oh, you set me up for the wrong button. Hey, look at that. Who in here has actually received a critique on a presentation that was not about the content of the presentation? About how you actually conducted the presentation, about your body language, about what you did. Okay, that's surprising, and it's good, because I don't think that most people do. And having sat in a lot of presentations, having given a lot of presentations, I think that there needs to be more critiquing around the actual conduct of the presentation as opposed to the content. You can see there's no formatting here. This is nothing, right? Who are the best presenters in the world? Who do you think the best presenters in the world as far as people?
Well, they read the PowerPoint next.
Good one. Doug, what do you think? Who are the best presenters?
There's always 2 jobs.
Okay. Who are the worst presenters in the world? What group of people or persons, this group of people are the worst presenters in the world? Anybody? Who? Introverts? Okay. Slide readers. I would argue MBAs are the worst presenters. I would even extend that to most professional degrees, because I don't think that professional programs give a lot of soft skill training. There's a lot of focus on data, there's a lot of focus on classroom work, but I don't think there's a lot of focus on soft skill training about how to actually conduct the presentation. Who do I think the best presenters are in the world? Military pilots. This is a stock photo. I have no idea who that person is. Why? Why do you think military pilots are the best presenters in the world?
They have to agree on every flight.
Yeah, true.
They have to motivate.
True. My argument would be that when things go wrong in that environment, they go catastrophically wrong. When 2 aircraft touch each other, it's never a good day. When an aircraft hits the ground when it's not supposed to, it's typically not a good thing. Military pilots need to be able to process and present information quickly, easily, in an understandable way so that everybody knows exactly what is going on at all times. So how do I know that? I'm both of those things. Right? I'm an MBA, and I'm also a military pilot. I flew that aircraft, not that one. This one's way better. That one's cool too, though. Quick aside, anybody know what the shark teeth mean on the front of an aircraft? It means it's been in the crash. No, we didn't have any actually. So, like I said, I spent 10 years in the Marine Corps as a pilot. I flew Cobras, a number of other things. That picture is somewhere in 2009, I think, in the United Arab Emirates or maybe Kuwait. I'm not positive. So interesting. I asked ChatGPT, because nothing would be complete without ChatGPT. Who are the best presenters in the world, and then who are the best groups of presenters in the world? It wouldn't tell me who are the worst. I kept trying to trick it, and like ask it to get me to tell it who the worst were, and it wouldn't tell me. So, yeah, Steve Jobs, right? You get a lot of these in here. There's no real surprises. I have Toastmasters highlighted. If you've been to Toastmasters, Toastmasters is a great thing if you've never stood in front of a group of people, ever, don't know what to do. It's terrifying and you need help. Use with caution, because it can be almost too much sometimes. You can kind of pick a Toastmasters person out of a crowd because they can be very aggressive with their presenting. But use with caution. So what does this all have in common? And this was ChatGPT that came up with this. The effectiveness of a presenter or a group depends on the ability to connect with their audience and deliver their message in a clear and engaging way. I'm stealing that because I think that's great. And I think that encompasses a lot of what people need to focus on, what people don't necessarily focus on. So what does that mean? I can't remember who was talking about this earlier. We were chatting about this. Poor information, oh, it's Claude, I think you were saying about confidence. Poor information presented confidently will always be good information presented poorly, right? You walk into a room with confidence, you walk into a presentation with confidence, you're going to do better than walking in with no idea what you're talking about and the best idea in the world, people are not going to take you seriously, all right? So what does that mean? What are, like, the basics? What's the good? Anybody know who Amy Cuddy is? No? Yeah. This is a link to her power posing TED Talk. You can take a picture of it, whatever. Go search Amy Cuddy power posing. It's like 20 minutes, 16, 17 minutes, somewhere around there. It's amazing. It is an amazing talk about confidence and about how you can almost hack confidence. Blind people who are born blind, never seen a thing in their life, they'll win something and they go like this. Automatically. So, power posing. Face your audience, right? You talk about slide readers, you talk about, people will gravitate towards corners because this is safe, right? I'm safe over here. Face your audience. Don't cross your arms. Don't point across your body. How many times do you see people do this, right? Or they do this, and they go and they point to the sides, right? Watch your watch your ums and your ahs. That's a big one. Ums and ahs is a huge one. Mine's okay. I say okay a lot in my presentations. I still need to catch myself, and I still do it a lot. But I still try and do it, or I still try not to do it. Watch your ums and your ahs. Don't read your slides. You reference your slides. There's a huge difference between reading your slides and referencing your slides. I would argue that if your slide is more wordy than this, there better be a really, really good reason behind it. If you're giving something as a leave behind or a read ahead, it can have a little bit more words to it. I would argue that you should do that in the appendix, not in your actual deck. If you need to pull a specific figure off of a pro forma or something like that, pull that figure out. Don't put the whole pro forma on the page. Again, I think if your slides are more wordy than this, they need to have a very specific reason for why. Practice your presentation. Practice it all the time. Practice it in front of your friends. Come here and practice. Practice it when you're sitting on your couch. And practice it in a way that's authentic for the way that you're actually going to present it. Don't sit in a chair, curled up on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, practicing. Because when things don't go right, you're going to default to that. You're going to default to the way that you practice it, not the way that you need to actually present it. And things don't always go right? Practice alone, practice over and over. I went through this probably 10 times, just because it's my nature. Practice with your slides, practice without your slides. Practice with slides that are screwed up. Have friends come in and mess up your slides and then go and do it. And have slides, you handled that really well, Kyle, with the slides not going and not loading. Be prepared for that, because if you practice it, you're going to be able to handle it, and it happens when you're standing in front of a VC, when you're standing in front of the PE firm, when you're standing in front of the people that have big checkbooks and can actually write those checks. PDFs. Why does it say PDFs? Because formatting never screws up on PDFs. Okay? I opt-checked this earlier with Kyle. I sent him a PDF. I linked into the Google presentation, and I sent him the PowerPoint. I opt-checked it, and he loaded it up on slides and said, or on Keynote and said it works fine, so we're good. Opt-check that. If you're going and giving a presentation, go there early. Load up the slides. If you have, especially if you have videos. If you have videos and media, you need to make sure that that stuff is going to play when you need it, because there's nothing worse than having something that's critical to your presentation, that's audio-visual, that's something, and you go to click and play it, and it does not play. That'll derail everything immediately. Don't apologize, okay? This is something that in the military, like, you would never apologize if it was rude. You never apologize. You're going to screw up, but don't apologize. It creates these little questions in your head of, do you actually know, do you actually believe in what you're saying? Or are you afraid of what you're saying? Just don't apologize if you screw up. Just keep going. Own it. Practice. I cannot tell you how important it is to practice your pitch over and over and over again and get feedback on it. When I was first coming up in the military, I wasn't allowed to use slides. I got a whiteboard and I got a map, and that was it. And I got two colors of markers. I got black and I got red. I wasn't allowed to use anything else. If I did really, really well for that for a few months, I was allowed one slide. I could have one slide where I could reference something. And then after I became good enough at that, I would go out and have a perfect presentation put together, and they go, nope, you're not going to do it. You're going to do it with all of us gathered around this thing with a map on it with no slides, and you're going to get the entire mission from memory without any technological support. Oh, where am I? There we go. Screw things up. Go in, do your pitch, and when I say screw things up, go in and do your pitch in ways that might be not traditional to the way you think you're going to do it. Okay? Try new computers, okay? Try things in ways in front of other people to see what's going to work. Get that pitch to the point where you can do it in your sleep. So when you're standing in front of a VC, when you're standing in front of an angel investor and write the big checks, you are confident, you know your numbers, you have it down completely pat, and you don't have to think about it. So when this battery dies, you can go from memory and go, the next slide says this, and you can still pitch it, and you don't have to think about anything. Okay? There it is again. So every presentation or every meeting needs purpose or an ask. Hey, do you need help? Reach out, not just to me, to people in this community and people in this room. So many people in this community want to help with your startup. They want to help with your pitch. They want to help with what you're trying to build. I'm willing to help. That's a link to my LinkedIn, or QR code to my LinkedIn. That's my email. I'm in the Bed Startup Central Slack. You can find me, HEV Advisors, is the company that I work for. And then a quick dash from that, we're a consultancy. It's mid-market strategy operations. If you're looking for help, if you need help, or if you are also raising money, you're working at a Series A, we also do some work around that. This community in this town is here to help your business succeed. All you gotta do is ask. I will look at any presentation, I will sit down on any pitch, and I will be very direct. I'll be nice, but I will be very direct about how to make that pitch the best thing it possibly can be. Last thing I'll say, one of my kind of passion projects is working with veterans and helping veterans as they transition into the civilian workforce. If you are a veteran, if you know a veteran who is doing that and needs help with a resume, especially resumes, military resumes typically suck because they don't know how to present the information of what they did, especially super senior people, of what they did in a way that non-military people can understand. If you know somebody who's working on that, let me know. I will work with them for free, completely pro bono, around helping get their resume in a place where they're able to go out and feel proud about what it says. And it's taken me a long time to de-jargon my resume, and I still find things on my resume that people don't understand. And that's it. That was quick. Yeah.
How do you balance the practice, like to the point where you're memorizing what you're going to say versus really knowing what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Not struggling with remembering verbatim what you're going to say.
I think there's a difference between having a script and having information. I don't think you should have a script. This was very different than the number of times I practiced this today and yesterday. I didn't have a script. I had ideas and thoughts and points, and I had some like presenter notes around times, like I want to hit this time, right? So I don't think you should necessarily have a script because there's nothing worse than getting up and someone's just reading the script and they're just talking about what they see. That's almost worse than reading your slides, right? So, but I think it's really important to know your information. So it is a balance, but I would not suggest that someone is memorizing information as much as they're trying to come up with, this is my end goal. I'll actually put it in the Slack channel, Kyle, that LinkedIn post. I thought it was great. It's literally like, need 10 slides. And it like lined out, like, these are the 10 slides that you need, and this is the information that you need in each of them. I was like, holy shit, this is my whole presentation. I should just put this up on the screen. But I think that could be a tough balance. But I'm not a fan of memorizing. I'm a fan of knowing what I want to say and making sure that I hit all of those things, not necessarily the verbiage that's related to it. Does that answer your question?
I think I try to do those things with the segues, and you try to memorize the
ReviewSpace?
Yeah, it's tough. You know, look, there's a significant difference between me standing in front of you, 10 or 11 people, and being on the stage at a venture conference versus being in a meeting with Sequoia. You know, like those are all very different things. That's one of the things I want to say too. So thanks for reminding me is you should be tailoring your pitch to your audience. I would not show up necessarily dressed like this to a pitch with large VCs. Maybe I would. Maybe if I got intel that that's the type of VC that they are, I would. But I'm going to do my research before I go into a meeting. It's possible. Yeah. But you should be tailoring your pitch and tailoring your slides to the presentation that you're doing as well. You know, I think, yeah, I think that's super, super important. Just like you tailor a resume, you need to know who your audience is. You may have an audience that do want to understand the scripts because they may be formulaic in the way that they want to do things. You know, you may talk to somebody and they may go, okay, you need to make sure you have these 4 things. You got to say these 4 things. That's just how it is. And if they do, you got to comply with that. You know, don't try to reinvent the wheel. You know. Other questions? Jesse?
I was going to comment, one thing I avoided for a long time was doing recording myself, doing practice. And I was really surprised, I was really pushed to do that, and how all this idiosyncrasies.
No idea.
It seems obvious, it's a super awkward to do at first, but then it's one of those things I have.
Yeah.
Always, when there's a big issue, it's you record yourself doing it.
Yep. I meant to ask how that Sam the okay, as I said, because I picked it up a couple of times, but I'm sure there's way more in there that, because it's my thing, it's my tick when I'm presenting. Those okays and are pauses. And it's a way for you to pause so you can get to your next thought. It's a placeholder in your train of thought. And I still try to remove that, you know, and so if you know your information, you don't need those placeholders because you can just pause. Take a breath. Okay, go on. Yes.
Like 2 little hacks, because I
Yeah. I love that.
hated it, and then I was like in front of 700 people. And I'm like, what do they need to see in me? Because they're gonna have to remember like 10% of what I say.
Yeah.
So what do they need to see in me on stage so that when they remember me, it's like this, and this.
So you know what my thing is? You know that create every presentation? Because what happened? I'm serious. You bring this, they're gonna remember you. You pull this out of the presentation, they're gonna be like, was that the guy that brought the premiere? And they're gonna be like, shoot, I remember that guy. But there's a practical application here to this as well, right? If you're in a big conference room that has a high whatever, you want to use a laser pointer. This has a laser pointer. Yeah, see, it doesn't show up on the screen. What if you need to point something out really specific? I'm not joking. You can use that, and people will remember it. It's anachronistic. I use this all the time in the military because when you're pointing on a map, you point with your finger. Or am I pointing there? Or am I pointing there? But if I point with something here, and then I'm not covering it with my hand, when I've got 5 people crowded around me in the middle of the desert, talking about what we're about to review for the next few hours. Yeah. So this is my thing. That's what people remember.
The other thing that I coach for pitch practices, and people will be like, "Here's my marketing, here's this," and I have listened to like weather news people, and they use a pause to move from like really significant events or news stories, and so almost to your point around about okays or becomes. I feel like being okay is pausing.
I mean, you can still have those breaks. I think those breaks are still really important. And it's okay to have a period where you're like, wait, I don't know what I'm supposed to say next. But we as humans, we don't like silence. We don't like that. So we naturally fill it with okay, yeah. Like it takes training. And one of the reasons why I think military pilots are the best briefers is because you can yell at people and you have a captive audience in which you can be really harsh and it gets beaten into you. Hey, you said 37 times. Do it again and we're going to have a problem. Literally, I mean, it's a different environment, right? That doesn't mean it's acceptable. Yeah, go ahead.
Just curious, what was my next?
You do this. You had some ums in there, not a ton, but you'll hear people that's every other word, right? You do this, and it's a protective body language, right? And it wasn't constant. You broke out of it, but you didn't cross your arms, but you did. You did this. Yeah, but it's still. Yeah, that was one of the only things I was going to point out. That was one of the only things I was going to point out is this is a protective pose, right? If you open up, this is not protective and it's scary. It's scary because you let it be scary. If you don't let it be scary, it doesn't matter. No one's going to remember what you said. They're going to go back and watch it afterwards. I did the commencement speech at my high school in the before times. And my first words were, none of you are going to remember what I said, so don't worry about it. And I think I spoke for like 5 minutes because they were all wrong. So, any other questions, comments, concerns?
What is one, so besides the pointer, do you have any other, what do you do to like, so no one's gonna remember what you say. Is the pointer your thing, like make sure there's a real thing that generally you can do to make sure that they remember who you are as a speaker, as a presenter, they want to remember you as opposed to, and like go back and look at yourself.
I think it's confidence. I think it's what Claude and I were talking about earlier. I think it's confidence. Projecting your voice, not yelling, but projecting your voice. I did a hackathon in a previous company, and it was no offense to anybody, it was a bunch of programmers and a bunch of software engineers. Who knows the difference between an introverted and an extroverted engineer? Anybody? They look at your shoes instead of their own. The extroverted engineer looks at your shoes. And so as I got up and I projected my voice, and the panel immediately, they all stopped, they looked up, they put their pencils down, their notes down, and they're like, okay, this is different. Not to say that happens every time, but I think watching Shark Tank, honestly, does anybody know how Shark Tank actually works? So a friend of mine, a really, really dear friend of mine from high school and college, had a successful pitch on Shark Tank. His segment was about 12 minutes, I think. He was in there for an hour and a half. They really, and they're all mic'd individually. And they said they'll be yelling at you like it's a Shark Tank. What you see is not what it's actually like. And they try to get you flustered, right? That's why I say practice with screwed up slides, practice with things that are not. Practice without slides. You should be able to go through, at least in some way, without any slides. It's not ideal, but if you practice, this is easy. Practice to the worst thing that could possibly happen, because then when that happens, you're like, but the Shark Tank, he never lost his composure. And he even said there's pitches on Shark Tank that never make it to air that will get deals because it's bad TV. They film for a week, they all wear the same clothes the entire week. So you might not even be on the same show with the same person you're there with, because it's different. They're taking a week's worth of pitches and condensing it. But the best ones are the ones that are going to maintain their composure, especially if something goes wrong. They're able to take the criticism, and they're not going to get defensive. And yeah, I think that's huge. I think it is so much of it is confidence, and so much of it is practice. Anything else? Reach out if you know anybody who's got if you're doing a pitch and you want me to listen to it over Zoom, like I will, like I'm here. And there's so many other people in this community that are here to support you and help you. Reach out and ask. That's all you guys do. Rock and roll. Thank you.
Well, we'll continue this any longer. Practice. I'm just going to make everything like this. Come on, No. Yeah.
It's Amy Cuddy is amazing. She's a professor at Harvard.